Crocodiles are certainly adaptable, but they've never been thought of as particularly bright. A new discovery is set to change that view forever.
Our fascination with crocodilians has led to a thriving business in which the crocs are performers in what amounts to a circus act. At Gatorland in Orlando, Florida, one of the prime attractions is something called the Jumperoo.
Now what we got to do is yell those words.
A performance which combines feeding time with showmanship. Though it may reinforce the stereotyping of crocodilians, this spectacle inadvertently led to a remarkable development in croc research.
Are you ready, Muggsy?
Research into a survival tool that people might not associate with crocodiles. Intelligence.
All right, when we began the Jumperoo show, it was basically started out as a feeding show, but to entertain guests, we said, well, give a few of them names. So we started just calling some of the alligators by name when we were feeding them.
Pizza,
and then we learned what we do was call their name, and they started to respond to their name. Even at a distance, they could be looking the other way, and they would turn their head. You would say, hey, Mike. And the alligator's head, Mike, would turn over and look at you. So we started to see a pattern of some of these animals recognizing their names, which is really interesting, and we think that we can maybe utilize this and modify some of this training.
Lucy!
Gatorland's general curator, Flavio Morrissey, decided that the perfect subjects were the Cuban crocodiles.
Lucy, water. Lucy, water.
They are highly endangered in the wild and widely considered the most aggressive of crocodile species.
Good job.
Good girl.
When we first got these animals, they had an extraordinarily strong, aggressive, associated behavior with food. So whenever it was feeding time, they were running to wherever we may have been. And it's not one crocodile coming at you, it's 6.
Go.
Ricardo, here!
But through a process called operant conditioning, Flavio and his colleagues have wrought a remarkable change in the Cuban crocs.
Ricardo, here! Ricardo, here!
Even though the croc Lucy is right at their feet,
Here.
it is Ricardo that responds.
Ricardo, up! Good boy. Oh, that's a good boy.
Usually we hold at this point for a few seconds, and then we're going to ask him to go to the water. Sometimes we have to touch him on the nose
Ricardo, water!
with the tongs. Again, the
Ricardo,
name,
water.
Ricardo, and then water. We're associating his name with that
Ricardo,
command.
water.
Now he's going to back up into the water, and we're going to positively reinforce him with a small piece of chicken when he gets back into the water.
Water. Lucy! Here!
Oh my gosh, it's just been
Lucy,
so much of a pleasure to feed them and not worried about if you're going to get your leg or arm pulled off by these crocodiles.
Good girl.
And people from outside Gatorland, other professionals, seem to be amazed over this as well, because some of them have worked with these particular animals and other Cuban crocodiles, and usually they have this reputation of just being pure nasty.
Lucy, water!
They haven't completely
Water.
managed to counter the Cubans' aggression as yet.
Water! Good girl. Water time.